the founder and owner of Lucky Number 8, an events production company that's coordinated some of South Africa's most memorable events, with their most recent accolades being the Annual Nelson Mandela Lecture that featured Barack Obama as a spokesperson. Well, Lebo is also a professional event planner for both intimate and large-scale events. She now joins us in studio to provide us with helpful tips on how to entertain on a limited budget. And goodness knows I need that, Lebo. It's great to have you on the show. Very good morning.
Thank you so much for having me. Good morning.
Let's quickly give our viewers a background into who you are and your company,
Okay.
Lucky Number 8, and how that came about.
I run Lucky Number 8. I started it 8 years ago. So actually this year we're celebrating 8 years of Lucky Number 8. And I've been in the industry for 23 years now. I know, right? And I've decided to go at it on my own. And I just really love being able to do, to create beautiful spaces. So I love walking into a venue and just transforming it into something else. I love interesting spaces. That's actually a wedding in the middle of Joburg City Centre. I also like breaking rules. People are like, it's a wedding, it's got to be in a garden. It doesn't have to be. I always say to people, go with what feels right for you. So I like to take the client's personality and bring it into the event. So in this case, the client was an architect and he loved beautiful buildings and he loved the inner city. So I was like, let's do it there. It doesn't have to be in a garden and, do what everyone else is doing.
Oh, there's absolutely nothing conventional about that. I love it. I mentioned in the intro that some of your most recent work includes the Nelson Mandela Lecture. How did that come about? I mean, that was a pretty big job. Just from the attendance perspective, putting it together, and of course, the dignitaries that were also in attendance, it must have been a mammoth task.
It was, and I think when you've been doing it as long as I have, you just kind of, you do it all the time, but this is one of those jobs where we all learned so much. It's one of those jobs where you are actually learning, because I don't think, anyone kind of does a job like this and they don't walk away going, oh my gosh, we didn't know that, because you are dealing with our president and, American presidents, you're dealing with other heads of states, you're dealing with ministers. I've never seen protocol like that. And I'm just so proud that we won. It was a pitch business and we won that. And we've been able to do so many other jobs for the Nelson Mandela Foundation. Recently, we did something with Chimamanda. We did another event with them, with Oprah. So it's just a dream to be able to win this kind of business for any organization.
And what are some of your other accolades that you would say were the highlights for, the past 8 years?
Oh my gosh. What I love about it is, we have a wedding division. So I love weddings as well. They can be a lot of work. So probably do about 1 or 2 a year. That's kind of all I can do. And we do film festivals and we do gala dinners. So the briefs are always so different and we just get to work on such different things. I'm also quite lucky that I actually sit and I have 2 jobs. So I also sit as the COO of Glen 21 Entertainment, and we do international concerts and big scale shows like Nick Fest. So it's really great that from month to month you are dealing with so many different shows, something from like 100 people dinner in a garden to 15,000 people at the Dome or at a stadium. So we're really lucky to do what we do.
Speaking of briefs, I can imagine that sometimes a client, wants something, an event to look a particular way, but maybe they don't necessarily have the budget. I know a lot of small companies, when they start out, sometimes have to compromise when it comes on the rands in order to gain the experience. Do you have a similar experience, and how did you manage to stretch the rand when it wasn't maybe just always the budget that you were out for?
I think when you're starting out, I mean, for a long time, you would just take jobs for PR and just to be associated with corporates and, we've done this and we've done that. And it's not that you're being obnoxious, but eventually you just get to a point where you're like, I've earned my stripes, we do great work, and, unless you can pay us, then, you can't negotiate forever and ever. And even though, we are operating in an economic climate where things are really tight, you need to know this is the part where it's not fair anymore. You're actually just doing it for fun. You've got staff to pay, you've got bills to pay. So I think you just get to a point where you know your worth, and I mean, where it's reasonable. I mean, we really work really hard with our clients to get the best out of our suppliers. When you work with them and you give them so much business, they always come to the party, which is really great. But you just get to a point where you're like, this is no longer fair. It's just actually abusive. So I think it just comes with experience, being able to negotiate those kind of conversations with clients in a way that, the client can see that we can only go so far.
Yeah. And on a more casual note, I mean, it is the festive season. A lot of people are hosting braais and Christmas lunches. How can we really make the rand stretch? And what are just some of the tips or hosting tips that you would give to people out there?
I think, Christmas is great because it lends itself to everyone kind of coming together. So I'm a big fan of potluck, and potluck basically just means bring in braai or So I just love it's great if you're the host to have some sort of a theme and you just ask everyone else who's coming to bring something. So your job
Please
is...
emphasize how amazing it is when everyone sticks to the theme. I mean, it does the things for the pictures.
Right?
Come on.
But I also feel like people need to get over the all white. I mean, I think we need to talk about that. I think there's so many themes. So, for example, my family, this Christmas, we take Christmas very seriously. We have S, so come as the letter S. So you can pick an S and you can come as a student, maybe not a stripper, but we always pick a letter and you show up at Christmas with that letter. So I just think people could think outside the box and not do all white, or there's so many other exciting themes that people can play with. But I was saying potluck is great. So the host just takes care of, I'm a little bit of a traditionalist at heart, so you do the turkey maybe and you set the table. And again, not everything has got to be matchy-matchy. I'm quite a big fan of it being eclectic. So, use different things and set the table, but everyone brings everything. And then it's like a feast, and you don't all have to sit at the table and eat. A feast means people can come and grab and go, and kids are in the pool. Not every event needs to be a formal sit down with a fork and knife. I think people need to get out of that also, that we must have a set table all the time.
All right, Lebo, phenomenal. Thank you so much. I could chat to you all morning. Thank you for the amazing tips and sharing your passion just for the eventing space and what you do with all your businesses that you're involved in. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, if you're still scratching your head trying to figure out how to plan a last-minute event on a limited budget, then we hope that some of the tips that Lebo had for you, she's an event planning extraordinaire, so I hope you took a valuable advice and, just think outside the box a little bit, and I hope that she's helped to ease your headache. It's time for us to take a quick break. Thank you.